This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Good evening, Jason Glick. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, John. It's like, and yourself?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. Just hanging out in the sweltering heat of the first day of summer here.
Yeah, it's like, but hey, we're inside and all, where it's nice and air conditioned.
You know how I think of it? I think of it as, hey, look, we're now we're over the crest of the roller coaster, and it just goes downhill from there, and then we have winter in about another 5 or 6 months. So hey,
yeah, don't remind me.
Well, I hope we get a winner this year.
Yeah,
hey, Myron, how's it going?
Myron's here. Wow, what's going on, dude?
Hi guys, I'm just rolling in like Conky and Pee Wee's Playhouse, just chiming in the combo. How's it going?
My guess is we must be talking about something related to either Transformers or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, the tattoo on my left arm says otherwise.
What is on the tattoo to your left arm?
Peter Parker, a.k.a. Spider-Man.
Well, no, that is actually what we're going to be talking about. We're talking about Spider-Verse, the big-ass like crossover that ran through the Spider titles late last year and early this year. It's basically going to be Dan Slott's final hurrah. It's like on the Spider titles before. Well, I mean, now it's like Secret Wars is basically upending Marvel continuity and giving everyone a fresh, clean slate to start from in November. Assuming that there aren't any more delays on the main series. Yeah, but so Myron, you read all the issues you had, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So basically, yes.
To tell you the truth, I did not read the last one.
Okay, I don't think you missed that much because like the last issue is kind of like the epilogue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically just everyone. It's like everyone going back to their respective realities and setting up the next Spider-Verse miniseries for Secret Wars, and also just like Superior Spider-Man just doing some crazy ass shit to like because that's what he does.
And now for me, being a Spider-Man fan, just growing up with the character and reading comics throughout the years, like I really enjoyed what they did here because it had a lot of different Spider-Men that we've seen in comic books, cartoons, and everything else.
Okay, yeah, but that's right. But also, like before we get too far into it, we need to tell everyone what exactly this whole shindig was.
Right on. So,
yeah. So basically, like the concept behind Spider-Verse is that it's basically every Spider-Man ever created, including a few that Marvel just made up for this crossover, are basically being hunted by this group known as the Inheritors, a group of evil energy vampires who feed on energy totems, or like animal totems. Specifically, the spider ones are the most tasty for them, and apparently they've also and so they've been hunting all these alternate Spider-Men throughout Marvel's various timelines, and now it's like our Peter Parker has finally been drawn into this conflict, and now he's got to lead because he's the only guy who's defeated one of these Inheritors, a guy by the name of Morlun, like twice. It's like he's got to help lead them and like basically show them how to defeat these guys. It's like in the end, it's like. Overall, it's like, Spider-Verse hits all the various beats of you expect from a big story. I mean, you got like our Peter Parker being like the unlikely hero and leader of this group of Spider-Men who are going to lead the Resistance, and get the Inheritors set up as a giant, big, like unbeatable threat. Like apparently they it's like the Inheritors are effectively immortal because they've got this. Oh, they're like the Cylons of the Battlestar Galactica TV series in the sense that they've got these. Whenever they die, they just get cloned. Their memories get downloaded into their latest clone, and then they're just like pop back out for their next go round. And it's like there's also like even though like there's like some bright spots of hope, like one of the Spider-Men is the Captain Universe Spider-Man, one who basically had the power of creation at his control, and he's created the safe haven for all the various Spider-Men to live, to hang out in and stage their resistance.
Which was Earth 13, right?
I have to crack open the book to find out exactly what which one that is.
Yeah, because
I'll take your word on that.
Yeah, because there's times where I got confused because I know, like, our Peter Parker, our Spider-Man is from the 616 universe, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's like the main Marvel universe beginning, with the 60s. But there were different universes that I never knew. Like, I never knew that the Ultimate Universe was 1610, or Noir had a universe, and then Spider-Man 2099. So when you meet all these different Spider-Men from different universes, they introduced that Spider-Man with the universe they're from. And I guess with Captain Universe, like you mentioned, they were in this safe haven where his power was active because that was, from his universe.
Yes. Yeah, and you've got, and of course, things go wrong. Our heroes find themselves on the ropes, but eventually they fight back because our heroes are far, they're not more powerful. They are far more clever than the bad guys. It's and in the end, the dire fate of no more Spider-Man emerging ever is averted. It's and everyone goes home to their respective universe, more or less. If I sound overly cynical about this, it's I am kind of disappointed in in how this turned out, because Dan Slott has done a lot of interesting stuff with Spider-Man over the course of his run, I haven't read any his brand new day stuff, but I've been picking up the big time collections, and those been fun. From from this whole Spider Island saga, where everyone in New York got Spider-Man powers, to the ends of the earth, where he had to convince the world that Dr. Octopus wasn't on the up and up this time, to the whole Superior Spider-Man arc, which was a great twist on the whole. The the supervillain winds up in the good guy's body. He even had some problems. He still took that a whole storyline in a direction in a lot of directions that you wouldn't expect it took the storyline in a lot of directions you didn't expect. You'd normally see it go in a superhero storyline. Spider-Verse is more by the numbers in terms of its plotting, and it suffers mainly because the Inheritors really aren't that interesting. I mean, they've got basic personalities, in the sense that Moreland is he's nursing revenge for Spider-Man. His dad Solus is he's the big
the matriarch. The matriarch. Yeah. He's the father, and I have to agree with you.
The dominating father figure.
Yeah. I have to agree with you there, because I've never heard of these characters until this storyline, and there was a part of me that kind of felt like they were kind of like a little bootleg Morbius, but I kind of liked how there was that father figure, and he had those children, and they were all kind of vying for his approval, and Moreland was his favorite.
Yeah, I understand. Moreland is from the Spider-Man crossover from several years back, when it was basically J. Michael Straczynski, Reginald Hudlin, and Peter David did this crossover called The Other, and apparently he was some really badass guy who was about to who killed Peter Parker, but then he got better, and then Peter found some way to take him out. Mm-hmm. I never read it, but I think that's what Dan Slott is drawing from. And apparently that's where he's getting all these Inheritors from, but they're just fairly generic bad guys, and it's compared to Peter's rogues gallery. I mean, they're really towards the bottom rung here,
like the D-list villains.
Yeah, it's they're standard uber powerful bad guys that I guess you can we can build them up to make this crossover event out of, but as far as seeing these guys again in regular Spider continuity, forget it.
Yeah, but I mean, with this storyline though, like I mentioned this a little earlier, just with having these uber powerful villains, kind of justified bringing in all these Spider-Men working together. But
yes,
I for me that was just a total, because when they announced the Edge of the Spider-Verse, even though it has nothing to do with it, I kind of had maximum clonage in mind. And I personally stomached the maximum clonage storyline. I love the artwork from that time, but it got a little silly with all these clones, all these different Peter Parkers. Oh, Peter Parker's actually Ben Reilly, blah blah blah. And I thought the same thing.
Ben Reilly also shows up in this crossover.
Correct, and like that, I was afraid that it was going to go Maximum Clonage like. However, just like you said, Ben Reilly, Kane, a lot of like Spider clones and characters that have appeared in comic books before made their appearance in here, and they actually had a good explanation or actually storyline for them. Like, for instance, when they went back in time to 1960s Spider-Man, and the panels were done like a 60s style cartoon, and
that was actually like the 70s. They were going back in time for the 70s Spider-Man cartoon, and that's actually something I want to talk about. That actually ties into like the one thing I really did like about this crossover. But keep going, Myron.
Yeah, because I like how they went back to that and actually did the artwork kind of like within that time period. And Miles Morales was teamed up with Ultimate Spider-Man from the Disney XD cartoon series, and they drew him just like the cartoon, and he had his whack, monologues to himself where he's like a chibi Spider-Man. And I thought that was so perfect how they incorporated each Spider character's like background, yet kind of like stuck to their style, stuck to their like source material style. So
okay, I was wondering, I thought that was the Spider-Man they were doing, but I'd never actually seen the cartoon series. But thanks for giving the confirmation right there.
Because when this series was going on, the cartoon actually had a storyline going on called Web Warriors, and it was basically like Green Goblin going through different points in time, and he teaming up with different Spider folks. So it was going around the same time to just draw in that crowd.
Which series was that again?
The Ultimate Spider-Man series on Disney XD.
Got it.
Yeah. Like the latest one, like it's still going on. So
okay. Oh, but yeah, that was something I really did like about this series, because they don't just like bring in like the Spider-Man that we've known from from other continuities. I mean that we've encountered before. I mean, yeah, we get Ben Reilly from another dimension. We get Kane from our dimension. We get Miles Morales, and yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Ultimate Spider-Man from the cartoons, but Dan Slott and his crew and all the other writers, they go the extra mile in creating all these other Spider-Man. Now, Myron,
Yes.
I know you just read the core series, right?
Yes, I read the core series, and then I actually have some of the standalone Spider-Verse comics and different ones. I bought a lot into it.
Okay, because I mean, like the length that Slott and his buddies went through to like dig up all these others. I mean, they created a bunch of other Spider-Man. We get Punk Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, we get not like the Japanese trickster Spider-Man. We get the Spider-Man of the Spider Clan from the Spider-Man manga series Marvel did years ago. We get steampunk Spider-Woman, and also some of my favorites were the really obscure stuff. Like we get the Spider-Man from the Hostess Pie cartoons Marvel ran in the 70s, and also we get Spider-Man from the Capcom Marvel superheroes games as well. And my personal favorite was the Spider-Man from the newspaper cartoons, to the point where like Moreland tries to kill him, but then Moreland realizes like, wait, why is this like all the panels in that strip take place over just like two, like he just realizes like, hey, why? Wait, I keep repeating myself. Why am I doing this? Like just even the simplest action takes an enormous amount of time in order to complete. Bah! I'm getting out of here. It's like I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Like with the other Spider characters that they created, like the made up ones, I thought they really did a good job, and had a lot of great different renditions in there. I did feel like a couple were whack, like the Cowboy Spider-Man, but there was one, and I bought an issue of it. It was like a Cyber Spider-Man.
Wait,
I saw.
Are you talking about like SPDR?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I figured that would be you'd get that because that was basically the Japanese anime version of Spider-Man.
yeah, that was part of because like that standalone
Yeah,
Spider Verse
yeah, yes.
series.
I got that miniseries too because even though it's like I got the gigantic hardcover which contains all the various tie-ins and everything, for some reason Marvel did not seem to fit to include the Edge of Spider-Verse miniseries, which includes like the whole SPDR issue we talked about, but also like Spider-Man issues with Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Gwen, which took the comic industry by storm.
Yep.
Let's see, you've got it's like another like cyborgs, another cyborg Spider-Man. You've got like a horror movie creeper Peter Parker as Spider-Man. It's like, and then you've got like the anime Spider-Man, which is basically which is what Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance. He wrote that, and he also put in some clever cameos in there as well.
Exactly, and it's like the artwork in this series is amazing. Like it's hard for me to pronounce their last names, but there was Oliver Copel
Yeah.
and Giuseppe Camuncoli or
Yeah.
Camuncoli or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but these guys are amazing Spider-Man artists. Like ever since I've been collecting all their work from this new Amazing Spider-Man and seen some of their work with the Superior Spider-Man. Like, I love what they do as far as like, how they capture the movements and fighting abilities of each individual spider person in these panels. Like, I love what they do.
Yeah, Cameron Coley hasn't gotten the amount of press that some of the other artists have, but he's kind of like emerged as one of the definitive spider artists in recent memory, just for his work on on Superior Spider-Man, as well as his work on this, like in the Spider-Verse miniseries as well. I mean, Coppel, he's regarded as A-list by Marvel, which is why he was put on the early chapters for Spider-Verse. But then but he couldn't do the entire miniseries. Cameron Coley comes in around issue 3, and it's like, hey, Coppel's nice, but he still needs to work on his like panel layouts to make sure everything everything's like everything reads well and it like follows in like a nice coherent fashion. Cameron Cooley doesn't have that problem. His art may not be as ornate and detailed, but it's still really really easy to follow and really energetic. So I love this work, and just thinking of the fact that this is a guy who got to start like illustrating fill-in issues of Hellblazer back in the days. Now
Wow.
One of the definitive Spider-Man artists. It's like, wow, that guy has come a long way in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But also the Edge of Spider-Verse miniseries, definitely worth picking up. I mean, yeah, the Spider-Gwen issue was nice, and Gerard Way's SPDR was pretty fun as well, especially with the cameos from the cast of Evangelion and Ghost in the Shell too.
Yeah. Now the Edge of the Spider-Verse, really, have you read any of the Superior Spider-Mans?
I've read them all.
Oh, okay. So like Spider-Man 2099, when he came back in time during that storyline, did that really kind of kick off the Edge of the Spider-Verse storyline, would you say?
No, it's like as soon as Spider-Man 2099 wasn't able to return back to his original time, I kind of saw this and said, okay, it kind of seems like we're setting this guy up to get his own series again.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I saw more like of staging some type of crossover later on, like Shattered Dimensions.
Yeah, but like, I mean, even though it's like that they've got, it's like you got these Spider-Man from different eras. They're eventually going to cross over. It's like at some point. I mean, as long as they've got a series ongoing, they're eventually going to cross over, like a crossover. I mean, and the issues that are collected in the Spider-Verse hardcover, they're not bad. It's kind of fun seeing him team up with Lady Spider to perform an autopsy on one of the Inheritors, and that was kind of fun. I mean, overall, I wound up pre-ordering the Spider-Verse hardcover when it was when Amazon was offering it for like $26. So I feel like I got my money because I thought a lot of the tie-in stuff was a lot more interesting than the miniseries itself. Because in addition to all this stuff, you also, like I said, like they go on a lot of weird, interesting digressions in the it's like in these tie issues, like to the point where hey, even the like you get the Spider-Man from Turn Off the Dark, the Broadway production, he gets name checked. The Spider-Man from the Electric Company, he's name checked as well. The Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man name checked as well. So like it's right. It's just a lot of fun just seeing the lengths to which these people will will go. Especially like there's even a story where that's done in the style of the 1970s cartoon. Especially the point where it's like where like you have it shows you what happens when Miles Morales and the Ultimate Spider-Man from the Disney XD cartoon go back to get this other animated Spider-Man from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because when Miles Morales finally takes off his mask to show Peter of the 70s cartoon what he looks like, why he couldn't have gone to Aunt May to tell her that everything was going to be all right. It's like the 70s Spider-Man goes, "I don't believe it. You're," and then suddenly Disney Spider-Man cuts in and goes, "Oh snap! Don't tell me Spider-Madman is old-fashioned in bad ways too."
That's right.
And then Spider-Man 70s goes, "You're a high school kid. I thought you'd be older. No offense, you just seem to really know your stuff." And Miles Morales is like, I do? Yeah, I guess I do. All right, Spider-Man, actions are reward. What do you say we go save the multiverse? So that was kind of, it's like stuff like that. That's kind of like the goofy ass weird stuff that I appreciated seeing, and it's like in this event more than anything else. I mean, overall, main story, it wasn't bad. I mean, in fact, probably its best moment was when it gives the Doc Ock Superior Spider-Man the inspiration. He gets to give the inspirational speech to Spider Uncle Ben in order to go out and save the day. And it's like, wow, it's like, damn, I did not see that coming. And really, the series could have used more moments like that to just maybe go, that was not what I expected.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I mean, it was a total fan service for Spider fans to just have all these different Spider characters, and it was really fun to read, and it was really enjoyable just to what you mentioned earlier, just seeing how they kept these different Spider people within the context of their media or time frame. Like you have the cartoon, the comic book characters, the movie characters, everything. I mean, it was really nice to just see a fun Spider-Man series released again.
Yeah, it's like, and like I said, if you want all this stuff, I mean, like there's a Spider-Verse hardcover, retails for like less than $70. Its cover price is $75. You can get it for less through Amazon. They'll be reprinting the Amazing Spider-Man issues, which is basically the spine of the story, by themselves as Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, or what is it, Volume 4? Volume 3, later this year. I don't know how they're going to be reprinting all the extra stuff in the crossover, but I think that they'll probably be doing that, all the miniseries and stuff, like in their own volume. But Spider-Woman, the tiny issues of Spider-Woman and Spider-Man 2099 are probably getting their own collection as well. So it's going to be very piecemeal. But the Spider-Verse hardcover is your best bet for getting all this stuff, even though there's a fair bit of trolling on Marvel's part in the sense that they give you a list of how all of this stuff is the chronological order of how all this stuff is supposed to be read, but they don't actually print it in that order, which was kind of annoying because they did it really well for Infinity in that hardcover last year, but they didn't bother to do it here because probably there's a lot more moving parts here, but that's still no excuse. Oh well.
Yeah, you never know. They might do it. They might do it one day.
Yeah, I can see them putting out a second edition that puts it all in reading order just to get more money from all the people who bought it the first time.
Yeah, and it'll have like a $50 price tag.
Yeah, and make it cheaper as well. Yeah, I can see them doing that too. Okay, so John, any thoughts on your end about this?
Nope, you guys seem to have covered it pretty well. So, cool is all I can say at this point.
All right. So, any final thoughts, Myron?
No, not necessarily. I'm just keep on collecting and just waiting for this Marvel reboot in the fall.
It's not a reboot. They're not kicking out continuity. In fact, they're bringing in just more because apparently word just broke today that the Spider-Man title is going to be Miles Morales.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's not going to be Ultimate Spider-Man. He's going to be Spider-Man.
Well, I shouldn't say reboot, so to speak, but isn't this going to be more like how DC did the New 52, like not completely rebooting, but just kind of,
Well, the New 52 is kind of technically, yes, they did go and reboot. It is technically that was a reboot, except for titles like Batman and Lantern, which which were working at the time and didn't require any rebooting. But all the other stuff. But the thing is, the whole Flashpoint era, like that stuff in continuity, that stuff was not part of continuity anywhere. To the point where all that stuff was in the whole Convergence event for the last couple months. So,
right. Okay.
So yeah, the New 52 is a reboot. Post Secret Wars, not a reboot, but kind of like more of a clean slate, handy jumping on point. At least that's what Marvel is trying to sell it as.
I see. But, real quick on another closing point, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, Spider-Gwen. You mentioned before how that character became a fan favorite. I've been collecting the individual books of Spider-Gwen as well. But one thing I loved what they did in the storyline was when, Peter from 616 met Spider-Gwen and excuse me. And Peter was, issuing teams, and he's like, "No, Gwen, you stay behind." And she kind of felt offended, like, "Why don't you want me to go?" And I believe it was Spider UK, kind of it was either
in his universe, you died.
Yeah, exactly. So once that kind of came into light, and they talked again, they had that thing. Sorry, Gwen, I didn't mean to trip on you earlier, but you died in my universe, and I couldn't save the Gwen in my universe. And she's like, "I know how you feel. I couldn't save the Peter in my universe." And I kind of felt that was pretty deep. I was like, wow. So, that character, like, I believe her part in this storyline, I think made her a strong character to have a standalone series.
Yeah, I think, on one hand, it was like that whole thing was kind of predictable, but the fact that it was still satisfying because it was a story beat that needed to play out in the way that it did there.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I mean, like I said, Spider-Verse, lots of interesting, fun moments. Storyline, maybe not quite as interesting, but not terrible as well.
All right, cool. Any other comments, guys?
No, sir.
I was like, next 2 weeks, be getting ready for Comic-Con, and maybe I'll probably be doing my thoughts on Mike Carey's The Unwritten, unless something else pops up in the meantime.
All right, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, laters.
Bye.
Good night.